Regarding the last video I put out, I decided to take it down. The reason I decided to take it down was because I looked at it through a different viewpoint. After looking through the comments and looking at my attempt to have people view it through how I thought it should be viewed, I realized I was in the wrong because I should not be having my video viewed how I want it to be viewed. That is the wrong way a video should be viewed. I should have my video viewed how people should view it, and they should just view it how they should view it. I realized that I essentially was judging somebody's lifestyle, and that is wrong. I'm sorry, Asmongold. It was not my intention to judge your lifestyle. And at the same time, I was basically telling other people how a fan base was viewing their content creator. That was not my intent of the video. So I am redoing my video. And so I am doing it differently because I want it conveyed a proper way. And I want to formally apologize to those who did view my video because I should not have pushed the way I want my video to be viewed onto you. Those who did comment positively, I do appreciate it for seeing the video fully in the way that I was hoping it would be viewed. Here is my second take. I hope you enjoy it. What's going on, everyone? Joelomaniac here. So today we're going to be talking about Asmongold. So I'm going to be going over a few things with Asmongold. I'm going to give you some facts about him. I'm going to give you some things that I agree with him about, why I've listened to him, and then I'm going to give you some things that I think is different between him and other creators, and then I'm going to give you some things that I disagree with him about. So some facts about him. If you didn't know, he is a very large streamer on Twitch. So he's been streaming on Twitch since 2011. The first that I saw him was actually about 2013-ish. Prior to that, he did do some YouTube videos that were some World of Warcraft strategy guides, but he did transition to full-time streaming in 2014 on Twitch.
What's that? What's that? Is that your vibrator?
Really gained popularity in 2019 with World of Warcraft Classic.
He shits himself. I don't think we need... Can we even watch this? I mean, it was 5 days ago. There's no way we can't, right? So, you clearly know what's happening right now, right? We have, obviously, probably the best player in Classic World of Warcraft right here, and he's fighting this monster. It's obvious what's happening. There's not a lot of noise on the screen, and he died. It's obvious that he died. Yeah, it's a LeBron wow, apparently. And looks like the guy might have shit himself over that. And it's like, think about the game, the narrative that creates, right?
One of the biggest things that really got his popularity when it came to streaming was actually his unfiltered opinion. And that is actually one of the things that got my attention when it came to his streams, was because he would give that unfiltered opinion. And that is actually one of the things that got me into my content creation, was that unfiltered opinion that he would give. He would say whatever is on his mind. And I'm sure if you are a fan of Asmongold, that's one of the reasons why you are probably watching him now.
Black fatigue. Oh yeah. Asmongold is entertaining the new meta of black fatigue, which is like, I'm sorry, the lamest way to be a white supremacist. Just say it.
Exactly why black fatigue is a thing. Black fatigue isn't a thing. Bitch fatigue is a thing. Ain't nobody tired of him. We're tired of her. No, don't go and make this a race issue. Stop. Why do you do this? This is embarrassing. This is crazy.
The lamest fucking way to be a white supremacist. Just say it. Just say the N-word, dude. That shit is so frustrating, where it's like, you're such a fucking pussy. You just can't fucking openly be racist. You have to just be like, oh, I just have black fatigue.
Why are you literally just lying? Like, really, it makes you look like a retard.
It's actually one of the reasons why that I got into content creation, was because where he would give his unfiltered opinion on things is why I give my opinion on other things as well. Another interesting fact about him, and I didn't really realize this until I started doing research into Asmongold, is we actually are the same age. In fact, our birthdays are not that far apart. I'm not going to release his birthday, but it is in April, and I kind of found it very interesting when looking it up. But one of the things that I thought was very interesting was his net worth. And if you know anything about Asmongold, he seems like he's a very average guy. And despite what other things that are going on in the background, it doesn't change who he is, given how much he makes. And you can see the contrast of someone like Hassan Piker, who has a multi-million-dollar home.
Huge backlash against Hassan Piker over the weekend.
Political commentator Hassan Piker has purchased himself a nearly $3 million home.
If you're going to market yourself as a socialist, you can't go and buy a $3 million house. It's immoral and it's disgusting.
He doesn't need to buy a $3 million house in West Hollywood. He can go buy a house somewhere else.
Son of Cenk Uygur just bought a $3 million mansion.
He sits there and just chatting and talks.
I think it's a little funny when a guy spends his whole life shitting on somebody like Bezos and then signs an exclusive contract with Bezos so that he can make millions of dollars to go and buy $1 million mansions. That's funny to me.
Hassan bought a house. For a socialist, you seem to be spending large, my friend. There are a lot of places that are not in West Hollywood that don't cost $2.7 million. They're all over the United States.
Who has a fancy car, who goes out and he has these luxury vacations, who spends all this money, who flaunts it all this time with all these luxury designer items and clothing. Asmon literally just lives like an average guy. Granted, he could probably hire maids to clean his home, or, you know, he could have a fancy car or whatever, but instead he just lives like an average person. That is honestly a level of respect you got to give the guy. A lot of people do poke fun at him for that, where, yeah, he could spend money and do all these other things and live in a better situation, but he chooses not to because he's comfortable not only with himself, but being who he is. And I think that sets him different and more apart from other people. And you got to respect a person who's not only true to himself, but so honest with himself that he can show who he is and he doesn't hide who his true self is with these luxurious items like other people do. I got into content creation from watching people like Asmon. I have watched other people. I am also a fan of, between Asmongold and Pegasus, I kind of got into making content creation. It's actually the reason why I got into making a YouTube channel, was because of just giving your honest opinion of either situation, other content creators. And it's why I wanted to make my own channel, give my own opinion of not only things that are going on, but other content creators themselves. And this is why I wanted to make this video of Asmon. And because I think that him giving his opinion on things, giving his unfiltered opinion, was an inspiration for somebody like myself. Something else I think is interesting is people like Asmongold are also business owners. He is a co-owner of Starforge Systems, and I have a little clip here to show you by his PC Starforge Systems being reviewed by Gamers Nexus. Check it out.
It's time. I promised you guys that I would watch this. Gamers Nexus has done a review of Starforge. I've heard that it is primarily good, so here we go.
We went undercover again to buy another Starforge pre-built gaming PC to review, and for this testing, we had to get help from a local CNC shop to mill a channel into an integrated heat spread detail for Starforge's configuration designer. And
oh, thank God. Okay, yes. Yes, all right, it's true. We did this on purpose. Absolutely. Yep.
First, get your shot glasses ready, because I'm going to say the word. Hemi-anechoic. We ran acoustic tests in our hemi-anechoic chamber to test for the fractal Terra hum problem. The last time we reviewed a Starforge pre-built PC, it was one of the better pre-builts that we'd looked at in quite a while. The major points of improvement for that one were
oh God, the screws. I remember this. This is, yeah, the screw, yeah. I remember this.
Torque, where multiple screws were loose on arrival.
Another one of these fucking screws.
And the peel beam left on the SSD thermal pack. Starforge came onto the scene with relatively quick renown due to its ownership by popular streamers. We ran the voices of several of Starforge's streamer owners at OTK through our acoustics analysis suite. Using what you all learned in the previous plot, we can now understand who has the most scientifically acceptable vocal frequency. This included streamers like Jay Schlatt, Amaru, Moist Critical, and Asmongold.
Are you kidding?
Does this look right to you?
Okay, Jesus. Are you fucking kidding me?
Asmongold. We then go for how each of these streamers normally talks. Jay Schlatt recently released.
Now, some of the things that I think that I will say that I do disagree with, like I don't always agree with Asmongold. There are some takes that Asmongold does have that I do think I do think we do differ on. And like, for example, he did give a take where he thinks that things that are banned, that things should be fully open. So something like that recently happened. Hassan was recently banned for showing the manifesto of somebody who committed a horrible act react to two individuals at a Jewish museum in DC recently. Here's the clip of that.
Denouncing it. So that means that you can get suspended even if you say something is a bad thing just by showing it. Just by the nature of showing it, you can get suspended by doing this, right? He didn't even denounce it, right? Well, like what I'm saying is that even if you do denounce it, you would still get suspended. I'm going to be honest. I think that's stupid. I do. I think you should be able to look at stuff and say that it's bad. Because, again, obviously, this is not necessarily what he would do, but I try to be fair. I know it sounds crazy, but I try to be fair with this kind of stuff.
Now, Asmon did state that he thinks that stuff should be shown. I disagree with that. The reason I disagree with that is because that can actually cause other people to want to come out about it. Can cause copycatters. It can cause people to incite more violence because they can see what happened. It can cause more problems to it. I really don't think stuff like that should be shown. That's just my personal opinion. And so that's when I say, like, I disagree on certain things of that. Now, we do have different opinions on things, and Asmon has changed my mind on certain things. But at the same time, I do respect his opinions because he has changed my mind on a lot of topics. And that's why I watch him, because he does provide that opinion that I do respect, because he is the living embodiment of freedom of speech, because he does fully embrace everything there is. And I mean, he has fully admitted that he has supported Hassan in the past before he went all radical and crazy. Now, what I will state though is he is different than other people out there. He is different than, say, somebody like Penguin Zero or Destiny or Hassan. Penguin Zero, I think, is more of a neutral based, where no matter what he does, he'll try to avoid controversy altogether, which is a very, I'm not trying to say anything negative against Penguin Zero in this aspect, where he'll avoid it. So he'll try to take like a topic that is, try to avoid controversy altogether, and he'll try to provide like a high ground on something that might be a little bit controversial, so that way if it does kind of come back on him, he can maintain that high ground. Where somebody like Destiny or Hassan will try to stick with topics that they know specifically are targeted towards their audience, so that way if it does go any kind of controversy, they know their audience will target them and protect their creator no matter what. Even if they say something incredibly insane.
There's about $50 billion estimated that are lost every year in Medicaid, just in fraud alone. No.
If you cared about Medicare fraud or Medicaid fraud, you would Rick Scott.
Or they say something incredibly stupid.
What about child pornography?
That's kind of a different thing. There's like moral versus pragmatic sides of that. I've seen a little bit of evidence on the pragmatic side, and it seems like an okay thing. I probably shouldn't say that, or it sounds.
Now, all in all, what I will say about Asmon is he is somebody who I feel needs to be listened to. I feel like you need to give him an opportunity to get his opinion out. I feel like the people who try to find a way to poke fun at his situation, they're trying to find a way to divert from listening to his opinions. And the reason they do this is because they know he's right. Because Asmon has been the kind of person where he's more right than he has been wrong. And when he's wrong, he admits it.
So earlier at the stream, I was talking about there were a lot of people who were not happy that I compared the Andrew Tate thing. I used like an example of the government framing somebody as like MLK, right? Martin Luther King. And I used that example and I said that chances of the government framing him were like 50%. Both of these two things were stupid to say and they're not true. And people said this a bunch of times. Everybody said it was fucking stupid. And I fucking hate having to go on and say that I was wrong. I fucking hate it. I almost never do it. I will find little ways how I wasn't wrong and how it was different, but I was fucking stupid. I shouldn't have said it. That's all there is to it.
Even though I might not always agree with everything Asmon says, and he might not always agree with everything I say, and his fan base might not agree with everything I say, and I might not agree with everything their fan base say. The one thing that I know we can all find common ground on is we all support the ability and the right to say what we want to say. Like, share, subscribe. Let me know what you all think below, and I'll see you next time.